Mackenzie.
Lemur.
I was going for E.T.
I was like, what did I just hear?
With how crazy and mean the aliens are in this one of all the
They're
ones we've
not
done so
nearly
far.
as nice.
I was like, let's get a little bit of friendly alien in this. How are you holding up, first of all? We're on movie 3 of Mayhem.
I think I'm doing great, actually. I'm hydrated. I'm charcuteried for Jesus.
Yeah, Mackenzie, we posted, well, for those of you that haven't checked our social, but Mackenzie made an incredible charcuterie board that has been sustaining us all throughout today.
Thanks.
So thank you.
Thanks.
But yeah, we're holding up well. It's movie number 3. We're covering Independence Day.
Yeah.
And literally 15 minutes ago, I opened up my phone to see that we have, on this day of all days, when we are doing 4 back-to-back alien films, manifested. There were 17 earthquakes or 12 earthquakes, all within like a certain distance of Area 51, and the internet's losing its fucking mind. So,
like, did we do this? Did we do this?
I don't know if I should say we're sorry. I don't think we are sorry. I think good for us. It might put us on the map.
I think it speaks to how powerful we are. We had no idea. I think we should post this episode immediately, actually.
Yeah, because this won't come out till like mid-May by the time you guys hear this. But just know, we were aware. We were very aware.
We're very aware. This is wild. My thing, though, is like, I know we're all losing our minds, but maybe this is the moment that we as a society catch up to the fact that Area 51 is real and there are aliens. Yeah. Because remember how we talked about this a few episodes ago. Like, Obama told us.
And we just kind of
blew past it because life was wild. Mm-hmm. And maybe now is where we're all like, you know what? Let's deal with the aliens.
Let's deal with the aliens. So that wasn't our cold open. I want to just point that out before we get into it. But another one who's been a little alienated in the last 4 years has been Will Smith, who, famously slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars 4 years back, I think as of like 3 days ago. But I wanted to give him, I know he's in a fucked up relationship. I have no idea what's going on there.
Honestly, weird.
But
so weird.
Let's give him a little bit of his due. Like, what is your favorite Will Smith movie? Is it this one? Is it like Men in Black? Is it Hitch? I don't know why Hitch is my third option.
Oh my God. You laugh. Again, referencing the wall right here. Ready to fucking go. Yeah, I did not plan it.
So it turns out it is Hitch.
Listen, Hitch is funny. Let's just be real. Men in Black is on the wall as well somewhere. Men in Black is so good.
It's a damn near perfect movie.
It's so good.
And I think that's one where we're going to talk about, obviously, Independence Day. And some things in this don't hold up as well as when I was in 1996, a year later, Men in Black. When I rewatched that, I feel like everything in that still holds up pretty well. So that might be my answer. Honestly, I don't want to steal yours, but...
No, I think Men in Black is like, in terms of watchability and a good time, that's probably the best one. I also know every fucking word of that movie because of course we do. I think in terms of maybe like one of his best performances is of course Pursuit of Happiness, which is also somewhere on the wall. That's an incredible, could be Oscar winning performance. I think that's a really beautiful performance. But yeah, I think in terms of like go back and rewatch and have a good time watching it, Men in Black, pretty hard to beat.
High quality. Probably top of my list as well. I would say, questionable ending aside and some questionable CGI aside, I really do like I Am Legend. I thought the first 80% of that movie was damn near perfect. Yeah. It just didn't wrap up, and it left a bad taste in my mouth, so I don't even think I went back and rewatched it.
I mean, the dog's the best part of the whole thing. Let's just be real. So I get that. But I will say, like, circling back to the Oscar slap, he was nominated that year for King Richard, and ended up winning, and that was also a great performance. Like
I didn't see that one. That's like the Williams sisters, right? Okay,
yes, and it's really well done. Like, I don't get me wrong. Like, I don't know that it's the most watchable of all the things that he's done in terms of like his audience, but it's a really good performance.
Having not seen the movie, was he just in character? Like, did Richard actually hate Chris Rock? Could he have played it off as that?
He should have done that.
His method acting.
He should have been like, I haven't come out of the role yet. Like, shit's been going down. That would have probably saved him. That's true.
So anyway, just wanted to give a little bit of due here. I'm not forgiving Will Smith. He was a dick in the moment. But I think
we all just thought it was like a bit. I remember like in
even
the
Chris
moment,
Rock did.
Like everybody thought it was a bit in real time, and then we were all like, oh no, that was for real.
Yeah,
wild.
Celebrity does crazy things to people, but
it sure does.
Hope you're doing okay, Will. Let's talk about your.
Let's talk about a good one.
Better times.
Yeah. All right, let's roll. Welcome back to We Drink and We Watch Things. I'm Mackenzie.
I'm drunk. I'm Lamar.
I was like, you're just reaching for the drink. Like, are you ready for your line, my guy? And he's like, I'm ready to throw it back. Okay. So if you haven't caught on, we're on episode 3 today of Space MAYhem. And we've been drinking our way through the day. We've been recording and watching and all the things.
And we've been doing
time.
Like the themed cocktails, but also nursing some wine during the movies. So like keep a steady buzz. We're not like shit faced, but you don't want to come down.
Also, we're like charcuting. We're doing the thing. We're keeping it's balanced.
We're hydrating.
It's balanced.
We're safe, guys.
We're doing fine. So yeah, we're just powering through. What are we drinking for Independence Day?
So you made the interesting decision to have our third cocktail of the day be basically an old fashioned riff. So we'll see how we are in what shape for War of the Worlds coming next
I thought
episode.
we needed to pick me up. The last one was long. To be fair, this is a long movie. It's like a 2.5 hour movie. We haven't had a cocktail in a hot second.
So this is 2 ounces of bourbon. Pick your favorite. I think we use Whistle Pig. 1/2 ounce of grade A maple syrup and 2 dashes of bitters. The garnish, you're going to need a thick orange twist expressed and then lightly singed with a torch, which we did actually do. It was very, very classy.
Thank you.
Combine the bourbon, maple syrup, and bitters in a mixing glass with plenty of ice. Stir for 30 seconds till well chilled and properly diluted. Strain into a rocks glass over 1 large clear ice cube, and then express the orange peel over the glass. Singe the edges of the peel to release the oils. Drop it in. We are calling this the Victory Cigar Old Fashioned in honor of our 2 basic leads here. I guess there's 3 leads, but yeah.
We did also, I will say, I smoked it as well. I did smoke it with some cherry chips. And I did use a rye today, so slightly different, but hopefully going to add some good flavor. Let's see. Yeah. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. You're going to be drunk by the end of this.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so proud of myself.
Sweet too. Like, I don't know if it's the rye.
His
but
is
like,
extra sweet on the maple syrup side of things. We made that part extra sweet for Lamar. Luckily, he warned me because I made his first and I dialed mine back. So I think we're doing good. All right. Well, continuing with some basics, and then we're going to get into the fun stuff. Independence Day. If you haven't seen it, I'm kind of shocked, to be honest. 1996.
It's a quintessential 90s film.
It's a quintessential 90s film. It's an action film. It's a fun time. It has a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. 68% from critics, 75% from audiences. Feels thereabouts.
It's also one of those, like, I'm not good, don't quote me on this, but it feels like it does a lot of firsts as far as it's sort of like, if it didn't originate it at least like revitalize the whole world destroying genre of just what Roland Emmerich would go on to do after this, of just let's take famous landmarks and have them blown up.
What was the other one you were talking about? 2012.
He did 2012. He did The Day After Tomorrow. Like, he definitely has. He just did Moonfall a few years ago. But this, I think, is one of those key things. You can think of all the things that get blown up and how many different landmarks are in this. And I do think that this, again, it might not have been the first, but it definitely popularized it.
This is the floodgates. The floodgates have opened. Okay. So again, we mentioned already, Roland Emmerich's our director. In terms of space movies, because I'm keeping it up, you guys, he did Stargate, which is like
one of his breakouts, right?
But remember, that's one of the ones I told you freaked me out. Okay. So like we've already covered A Space Odyssey and Stargate, like of the ones that have weirded me out as a kid. Apparently, I both love and am creeped out by space, is what we have learned, which I actually think is a healthy fear.
I think it's Event Horizon.
Did I see Event
Lawrence Fishburne and
no, I did not see that.
From no.
Yeah. Is it good?
It's a good horror movie. I don't know if you would love it, but it's in space and it's kind of like this, like really, like it's kind of gory, but also like psychological. And you get to see Sam Neill be kind of like a villain. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, kind of fun. All right. Well, anyway, like I said, my healthy fear of space aside, I think Stargate is, a good one. Like you said, he has kind of a genre as well. I'll mention he did White House Down, as you said, but he also did The Patriot, which is
that was Mel Gibson, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, if you haven't seen The Patriot, like Mel Gibson aside, and this was pre him going nuts, to be fair, great film, incredible performance by both him and Heath Ledger, and like, really good. So it just feels very different for him, but interesting. Our writer here is Dean Devlin. He did Stargate as well. And then just rounding us out is David Arnold did the music also for Stargate.
Okay,
so it's like the
guys are
dream
like,
team.
Yeah, bros.
They're space bros.
Dean Devlin also, I don't think it's an ale, but it is a destruction movie. But he did the 2000 Godzilla with Matthew Broderick. He wrote that. So I know the soundtrack was really good. I don't think the movie was that good, but yeah.
Okay, we're doing it. All right. So this is a pretty decently sized cast. I tried to narrow it a bit here. Yeah. Will Smith, obviously, as we mentioned, he plays Captain Holler, one of our heroes. MIB.
Captain Hiller.
Hiller?
Call him Captain Holler.
Holler.
He makes me want to holler.
Oh, you're right. It is Hiller. I just have a typo.
But this is like peak charisma. Like this is him coming into his own.
This is Will Smith vibes, man. This is like Fresh Prince. We're doubling down on it. We're reaching our peak. I love it. Yeah. And so, and after this is MIB. So this is the beginning of his like space fame. And then Bill Pullman is our President Whitmore, and he hasn't done a lot of space films besides this and Spaceball.
I was like, how dare you say he hasn't done space films?
Well, I actually did like scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Okay. Well, I also have him in Resurgence.
Oh, the sequel. I didn't see the sequel,
he's in the sequel for Resurgence.
If you guys saw the sequel out there, let us know.
Let us know.
I heard horrible things, but I don't want to watch it myself if it's not even like.
You're going to hear me go through several of these folks who did come back for it. So I have questions.
Also, interesting fact about Bill Pullman, does not have a sense of smell. Apparently, he had a head injury like decades ago and was in a coma for 2 days and lost his sense of smell.
I didn't lose mine, but I have a real shitty one, so I get it, Bill.
If you did lose your sense of smell, what scent would you miss the most?
You know what popped into my head, which I don't even know if this is true, but what popped into my head is, you may smell it here. It's been burning all day. The mahogany teakwood candle that I burn all the time. Okay. It's really nice. That's maybe not my favorite smell in the whole world, but it's up there.
What you would kind of miss.
It's up there. Yeah.
It's like chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
And then honestly, gasoline. I love the smell of
gas. I love the smell of gasoline, which is so fucked up. It's killing the planet. But I love, apparently that's like a genetic thing though, too. Like people who like, there's like a very specific, it's like cilantro, but for smell.
Okay.
Interesting.
I buy it.
Okay. Other next up, our other lead is Jeff Goldblum. He plays David Levinson. He is just the market cornered on Hot Nerd, and I'm here for it.
And we're covering him, it feels like every 2 months we do a Jeff Goldblum.
Because he's just great. He's just great in all things. I love it. Obviously we did Thor Ragnarok with him. Another fun one that I do know that I haven't mentioned, but it's been a hot minute, is Powder. It's a little sci-fi.
I never saw that.
It's really good. I mean, I remember it being really good. It's been a long time since I watched it, but I remember it being really good, and he was in that as well. Okay. So fun little left turn. Mary McDonnell plays our first lady here. She's not here that long, but she has kind of some integral parts. She was in Battlestar Galactica, so that's fun. Also for you Grey's Anatomy's fans, she's in that. Judd Hirsch plays Julius, David's father, his like quintessential disappointed New York Jewish father. Like it's just peak. But he also comes back for Resurgence. So there's that.
Jeez.
Margaret Collin plays Constance, and she did like the Tomorrow People, which I never saw, but it's supposed to be space adjacent. And Randy Quaid plays Russell Cass. He announces it to all the aliens in case they were curious. He did The Adventures of Pluto Nash. And then Robert Loggia does General Gray's role here. He was in The Lost Missile, which is like not quite, but it's like, space battery.
All the like generic government/army characters in this are very well cast. I feel like that's a quintessential staple of these types of movies.
That was like the peak in the 90s too. They all rotated through this. Like that's what they just kept doing.
Like, okay, we need the old general. We need this one guy who's going to be a total dick and just want to bomb everything. Like we need.
I have half of those movies here, like The Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games.
This is very well cast.
Yes, they're all in all of these. James Rebhorn plays Albert Nimziki, who is the Secretary of Defense, who is our villain-ish. He was also in The Adventures of Pluto Nash. And then Harvey Fierstein plays Mary Gilbert, the most extra. Talk about like quintessential Jewish, gay, loud, like all the things. He was outrageous. He's not here that long, but he makes an appearance, is what I'll say. He did The Dark Crystal, the sequel, the Age of Resistance, not quite Resurgence, but close. And then we can't leave her off, which they did actually, by the way, and the top people in this role.
I was surprised how far I had to scroll for her.
Yeah. Vivica A. Fox, Jasmine, crushing it. And
we made a stripper for like no reason.
For no fucking reason.
It has just no bearing on the plot. It's just we want to. Vivica A. Fox is hot. Let's have a scene where she's dancing.
Let's put her in a fucking stripper outfit.
It was the 90s. I don't know.
Ugh, bitches. Okay, but she comes back for Resurgence as well. So we have a lot of questions about Resurgence because Will's not there.
We should have, like, instead of doing War of the Worlds, which we know is going to be bad, we should have just done Resurgence. And we would have had probably
the day's not over.
We
can
switch
switch gears.
Fifth movie, bonus episode.
Okay, quick plot summary, and then we're going to get into some good stuff. All right, the aliens are coming, and their goal is to invade and destroy Earth. Fighting superior technology, mankind's best weapon is the will to survive.
We're really good at that when our backs are against a wall, it turns out.
Hey, Bill Pullman talked him up. He gave the speech. I
was like, he could have just shown up for that one day of shooting and delivered that speech, which is like a top 10 cinematic motivational speech. Then he would have earned his paycheck. It's
very comparable in terms of presidential speeches in film. Yeah. It's very close to me to American President Michael Douglas, that Aaron Sorkin speech that's so beautifully written. It's not quite the same level of writing, but in terms of delivery and the kind of persona that we're looking at, it's very reminiscent. It's a good vibe. It's a good vibe. Okay. He crushes it. Okay, quick production factoid. This was a $75 million budget, which actually seemed a bit low to me in terms of what we looked at. And then it made, what's your guess? What's the over under 500 million? What do you think?
I would say under 500 million, but not by much. I would say 380.
817 million.
That's insane for 96.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Wow. So this was a fucking hit. This was really wild. So, okay. Turn around. Don't drown. It's spoiler time.
I feel like the majority of the conversation that I'm going to have today is how much I legitimately enjoy this movie because it's fun.
Can you hear the asterisk at the end of his voice? It's because I can.
But so much of it is tied to the nostalgia of me seeing this in 96 and seeing a bunch of things I had never seen before,
Okay.
But then also the back half of that, the asterisk, is what elements have not aged as well and how, 20 years later, 30 years later, God, this is not as good as I remember it. It's still fun. But there's a lot that I would change, I think, if I were to make this today.
Okay, well, hit us with, you don't have to give us the whole spiel, but what's the first thing that comes to mind?
First thing that stands out is that the practical effects in this are pretty fucking good. The alien design is incredible.
Yeah.
The spaceship design is great, but they're leaning into a lot of green screen. And when they do that, it is really, really fucking obvious. When the dog jumps through the fireball, it's so fucking bad.
You can ask Lamar the thing I was most concerned about, because I haven't seen this in a minute, and I was like, Boomer!
What about Boomer?
How's he doing? He's fine. And also, I just have to call out. He was so reassuring. He was like, he lives forever.
He's still with us today.
He's alive right now. Yeah. It's good.
So thank God that fire can't turn corners, or that dog would have been doomed. But yeah, you can just hide in a closet, and fire can't get you, apparently.
I agree with that, though. I will say there were a couple moments. I mean, overall, I agree. The practical effects are better. They held up better than I expected.
The models, the White House, the different buildings, when they're blowing those up,
the Empire State Building, and even that, when they backlight the Empire State Building, it's a little bit wonky for a split second, but then they do the explosion, and that's really good. And the way that the explosion moves and all the debris and the cars and the fire trucks and whatever, that's all really good. That's all really solid. I agree.
There's a reason that eventually there was a movie, parody movie called Disaster Movie, because this sort of kicked this genre off.
Yep.
And then for 15 years, everyone was making shit like this. So I want to give it credit. I'm just saying on a rewatch now, it's not as perfect as I remember.
Well, and we just wouldn't, even in terms of resolution, not to be a cheat and a nerd here, but in terms of resolution of what we were looking at now versus then, we just didn't even notice it. I mean, now I have this incredible TV in my house that probably showed something better than the theaters.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one.
True.
My first note, fun fact is Jeff Goldblum is the hot nerd, and this has defined his career, and it's my favorite. That's my little, and recycler. I am him, he is me. I love this man who is the prescient nerd, who is none of you give a shit about the planet. None of you is doing this right. He's walking around picking up people's trash and putting it in the recycle and lecturing people. And it comes back later where everything is terrible. They're attacking us because they want our planet and all of our natural resources. And he's like, what if we just trash the planet? Like, it's the hard left.
Everyone else was right. It would have kept the aliens away.
He's like, maybe they won't be interested if I just trash everything. And I was like, no, this is not what we meant. But it was a funny transition.
Your first note is that Jeff Goldblum always plays the hot nerd. My first note is that's not Keanu Reeves. Like Randy Quaid's kid in this. I was like, oh, we couldn't get Keanu for this. I get it. He was probably very expensive, but like,
he doesn't get enough screen time to be Keanu in the 90s, though.
He gets like 4 scenes. It's fine. I think that.
But he's from, wait for it, he's the pizza guy in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Which is that at the beginning
for
of
the crew? No, when they come in and
okay.
they're doing the big overnight boost and everybody's like giving their spiel to Nicolas Cage and being like, here's my job, da da da. And they're like, he can order a mean pizza. And he's like, what? I mean, everybody got to eat. Like, that's him. That's the guy.
Does he still get an equal share from like the gang?
I don't think so. I think I think you would obviously get a smaller cut. You just ordered the pizza.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's fair.
My other note right off the bat was like just writing down how many, for as much as I just criticized some of the green screen in this, just how many iconic moments are stuck in my head from this. We already talked about the blowing up of the models of things like the White House and the Empire State and how cool that fucking looks. And when they're showing you, you know, the Opera House in Sydney and the pyramids and with the alien, again, green screen rough. Mm-hmm. But even the shot of Will Smith when he's out on the street and he's noticing his neighbors to his left and his right, and then he's got the newspaper and he looks up and they do this kind of like, almost like a Hitchcockish, like steadies, like weird zoom to him. And you get this iconic like shock look from him of seeing UFO for the first time. There's a lot of just iconic moments in this for sure. No,
there's some really good shots. I do think a couple things don't hold up as well practically. And I don't mean effects. I just mean interactions. Because remember, in that very similar vein, in that same scene, Vivica A. Fox Jasmine's character is like, why can't you just call in sick, basically? And he's like, I'm military. I'm in the fucking military. I'm in the Marines. It looks like he's wearing a Marine Corps uniform. And she's like, I don't understand why you have to go to work. And it's like, listen, I'm all for this lady. She's a bad bitch later. But you're like, really?
I don't know if you know how war works.
You don't even know how war works. We're being invaded by aliens. This is literally my time to shine and my whole job. And then you don't quite know what his job is yet at this point, but you know it's military. And then he gets there. He's the fucking fighter pilot. Like, what did you think he was going to do? Stay home and nap? Like what?
Yeah, the script in this is not the strongest on rewatch. It is super 90s, where it's just grain of salt. Just swallow this. You don't give a shit about the plot. Don't get tied up in details. Don't overthink it. It's going to be a really fun alien invasion movie, and that's kind of what it is. But
I do also have to call out that he's driving a 1965 Mustang as he's leaving his house. You don't get the full shot of it, which
a high-paid pilot.
But I'm like, well, you know, at that time, I don't know. Maybe if he restored it, maybe it's not that bad. But I'm just annoyed that you don't get the full shot.
Yeah,
I'm just me personally. Nobody else cares, but I care. I also have to say we love Jeff Goldblum's dad, Julius.
Yeah.
He's a great time. Like we go from this situation kind of into Jeff and his dad and that dynamic. He's still, we couldn't quite remember, neither of us. We were like, did she die? Is he just heartbroken?
The wife.
Yeah, well, he's wearing the ring and all that. And he's just like roasting him about the ring. He's roasting him about his job. He thinks he's like a cable guy. You know, their dynamic is just so fun.
I forgot how big of a role he had in this. I think when you think Independence Day, you think of like the big 3 male leads, just the ones we've talked 100%. About. But he's kind of like number 4 or 5 in the cast here. Yeah. And he brings like this heart to the film that I think it does need. And the dynamic between him and his son is, interesting to see. So
another fun dynamic, albeit clearly one that ends in betrayal, is Jasmine and her friend from the club, who she literally is liar. Like, promise me that you're not going to go. I'm so worried about you. Please don't do this. And she, in all sincerity, says, I promise. Who gets blowed up? Yeah. Who gets blowed up immediately?
She deserves every bad thing that happened to her.
I also love that like they don't really show Jasmine ever finding this out. Yeah. Which I kind of want her to like just be pissed about it.
Lied to me. Yeah.
But I really want her to find out. Yeah. And you never really see that.
Yeah, that open, before we get to that, the first 45-ish minutes of this, I still don't know how I feel on rewatch. Part of me really likes the paranoia building and that they take their time with letting you kind of decide whether I mean, if you've seen the movie trailer, you know the aliens are not here for a good reason. But
they're not here to make peace. We're not here to be
There's that
friends.
line where he's like, well, you think they came all this way just to start a war? And it's like, yeah, we saw the White House blow up in the trailer.
That's the question marks in my notes of like, yeah, dude.
But we spend that first 45 minutes of like all these people mobilizing and him telling people not to panic, and some people are excited about it and some people are terrified. And it is like this steady buildup until the actual attacks happen. And then from that moment on in the movie, it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn well paced. I would say the last 60 minutes of this are a perfect movie.
I think the pacing in the first half for sure is a little bit off. We get a little bit too much of certain things, a little too little of other things. For how long it is, that's weird.
It could have been 2 hours, 2:15. It didn't need to be 2.5.
I agree. It could have been 2 hours. I think you could have cut, a lot of the First Lady stuff.
Yeah. It felt like just a way to give the president something to lose.
But I feel like she can be a concept of what to lose without as much time. Even flashes of her or something, but they also need to give Jasmine something to do. And so like she comes in and she's taking care of business because of course she is. She's literally saving everybody's bacon in heels. If you didn't hear the click, 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 she's fucking walking around in heels carrying a generator? I don't even know what that was. Yeah. She's getting shit done. She's being a bad bitch. But like that is all a vehicle for her a little bit more so, I think.
That's true.
But I still think some of that could have been trimmed. It wasn't that compelling to me.
Yeah.
I also think that some of the effects, while cool, go on a little long.
Like the explosions that are just like for 10 minutes. Yeah. Like I don't need to see another street being blown up with cars flying
It's like
everywhere.
explosions without people, not people, but like, without interactions of characters. If you had characters interspersed with that, I think it would have been more engaging and I would have been like, okay, I can keep watching this. But it's explosion, 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 explosion. And you're like, okay, next, so that's a little bit off in terms of pace to me as well.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think you get to those sort of iconic, if a little extensive destruction sequences. But then I think the next big set piece that's really like not fun to watch, it's sad, but it is very entertaining, is the fighter pilot, that first sequence where all the planes go up with Will Smith and Harry Connick Jr.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention Harry Connick's here. Yep.
Doing his best. But like that sequence is like also heartbreaking to see. I was going to say one of my favorite things about this, especially on rewatch, is how much Earth just gets its ass kicked throughout this. Like we are just on the defensive. And by the end of it, like half the major cities in the world are destroyed. It's not as though just New York and LA get blown up and then we go save the day. Like they have wiped out probably half of humanity and everyone has experienced loss. So it does feel like an alien invasion movie with really high stakes.
I don't know if I was like distracted or what. It felt very America focused in terms of damage.
Well, I think because we're seeing it through the American perspective, so they're talking about like, oh, now Atlanta got bombed, and now Philly also got bombed, and now they're going to Houston, blah, blah, blah. Right. We see little, I do wish for it be the whole concept of the movie being like the whole world is coming together for this. You don't really get that until the end.
Until the end is when like I think is it a British fighter team that gets instructions and they're like annoyed at us for not having moved faster, and they're very like, about time, and I'm like, bitch, what you been doing? Like, we haven't seen shit. And so I do wish I know it's supposed to be Independence Day and America focused a little bit, and it makes the speech really land and hit. But yeah, if you're looking at global invasion, I do feel like we could have had a couple more, international.
I think sequences. The payoff is cool when you have the British soldiers and they're interacting with, you see like the Israeli fighter pilot, and you see like, I'm not sure what country's flag it is, I'm not going to guess, but you see like people from all over the world and these broken military powers uniting against this common threat during that speech segment. I think that's a cool moment, but to your point, I do think we should have shown more in advance of like what was going on outside of the United States.
I agree. The other thing that I think is not super realistic that kind of I told you that was kind of giving me pet peeves is like the presidential behavior here. Not because he's not an incredibly admirable man and fighter. He was apparently a combat pilot and all these things are great. However, as our president, we would not, like literally the Secret Service, fun fact, will force the president physically into certain positions under certain circumstances.
Yeah.
So like the fact that he is like, I'm going to stay. You guys take the VPs and you take the Joint Chiefs and y'all go into the bunker. I'm going to hang here in the completely unprotected White House.
Yeah.
And then also I'm going to go up in the plane and I'm going to fight because I'm a combat pilot and that's where I belong. Listen, admirable as fuck. Bill Pullman is sexy in this moment. I love this for him, but wildly unrealistic.
Unrealistic, but like for the character who throughout, I like that they do establish that early on. If people saw you as a war hero and this fighter pilot, and then when you got elected, you just became this.
That's fair.
So they do hint at it early that he is trying to be a pacifist.
Doesn't she call him a wussy? Doesn't she call him a wussy? What does she call him?
I'm not going to quote her. That sounds
no. She calls a wimp. She calls him a wimp.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It was.
But like I had read some IMDb fact. I can't pull it from my head right now. But if this actually did happen, it would have been the first time a president had like actually gone into battle since like the early 1800s. I forget if it was like Garfield or like Monroe, but like one of the Jameses apparently got on horseback and led a battalion. So like it doesn't happen often. I mean, it's better than what we have now, which is I would rather have a president that goes into war than a draft dodger that becomes president. But you know,
I was the whole time. It's so hard in this day and age to watch these things and not compare. But I was like,
oh, this would be so nice.
I know. Even like I literally turned to Lamar. I was like, can you imagine a president who behaves this way, who loves his people, who puts himself first, and isn't like, how can I sell this?
Yeah.
That was my takeaway. Is like the alien invasion. He's like, I'm gonna go talk to these guys. I'm gonna get him to sell something. This was so much better and so beautiful. So yes, I agree. I think like this war hero energy is excellent for this movie. It just felt, you know, especially in the 90s, it felt a little bit like, no, man, they're gonna drag you underground into the bunker for sure. Yeah. Oh, but I did like, okay, so the shields part, we just fucking throw everything we have in that first battle, all the missiles bounces off the shields.
They've got some pretty they can stop nukes. Like literally the most powerful weapon on Earth can be stopped by these shields.
Yeah.
And the whole like, let's give it a cold thing. I thought they were going to go full on War of the Worlds and be like, we're going to make the aliens sick.
Yeah.
Which is a dark history that ties into like colonialism and stuff. But I'm like, well, it's logic. Like, you know, think about fucking signs. Spoiler, but like water kills. Like there's something on this planet they don't like, right? But I thought it was weird that they just end up uploading a computer virus that somehow takes down all those shields. But I guess we need sort of like a way
Is this where digital terrorism began? This film? Is this what it is? You know, did they teach people to do, you know, invasive hacks and all the things that we've seen since? Because I was watching and I was thinking, I was like, this is actually for the 90s, kind of brilliant.
I would say it's probably like in this 6-year stretch where you have movies like this and Hackers, or even like fucking James Bond
we're
GoldenEye.
Still paying for internet by the hour at this era. I need you to understand. We have a CD-ROM that has 30 hours of internet, and you have to wait for it to load. You're making a sandwich. You know, there's a whole situation happening. So God, I'm just
getting porn to download on that. You would like you had to pre-plan.
Wait, is that the first thing that you tried to do on the internet?
Within a month. Like it was like, I need to see boobs. I'm willing to wait 40 minutes for the image to download.
ASL, remember?
Yeah, age-sex locational.
Yeah. Guys. Yeah.
Sorry to anybody that's not a millennial that has
We're elder millennials. You better, you know, unsubscribe if you're not interested. But I do think that was the man, what a time to be alive.
110%.
Like, AOL.com, that email. Jeez Louise.
I think one thing that I had forgotten on rewatch was there is some like a horror element to this. There are some scary parts to this, and I think that's why I, as a kid, latched onto it more. Was they do have some really cool, like the autopsy scene, I think is really creepy. There's some like interesting body gore type stuff. And then when the thing comes back to life and like has its tentacle wrapped around Data from Star Trek.
You guys, Data from Star Trek is in this. I
had no idea until you pointed it out. I was like, that's who that is. He looks so
He has like long hair and he's like way more chill. It's the whole thing.
But they do a good job in this of actually having a couple scary moments, even when Will Smith like goes to the crash ship and the thing jumps out. As a kid, I remember loving that.
This is where I think I'm like a numb person. Because like I just don't, it's not intentional. I just don't react. I do, however, I did have lots of questions about the autopsy scene. Like I was telling you, because it took me back to, you know, 70s Alien, like OG Alien, where they first encounter Alien and Ian Holmes' character, the droid, is like, that's a reflex. That's not that's not he's not alive. That's just a reflex. And I'm like, it's an alien. How do you
know?
fucking know?
Yeah.
How do you know? And this is very similar behavior in this autopsy. They're like, it jumps at them and they're just like, it's fine, keep going. Crack it open.
Yeah, no big deal.
You know, so that was an interesting one on rewatch, the autopsy.
Yeah, that scene's weird. It creeps me out a little bit still. Tying into that, the use of Area 51, I think, in this is a good piece of script writing. So like you had an interesting fact while we were watching. Go through that.
So fun fact, you guys, like the U.S. military was willing to host parts of the production of this film, use equipment, shoot on bases, all these things, until they read the script and they noticed the repeated reference to Area 51, and they pulled out of the project entirely.
Because this is 1996, and back then, yeah, they didn't want you to know it existed.
Area 51 is real. Aliens are real. It's wild.
I wonder if this movie would have been any different if that had changed. Probably not. It's probably just a shooting location thing, but yeah, interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, maybe there could have been some authenticity lent to this. I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, I think that's fascinating.
I also like how Data, I'm going to keep calling him Data. I don't know what the
is Data.
But they arrive there and he's like, the last 24 hours have been really exciting. It's like, we just killed 8 million people in a film.
He literally says, if it's not clear, they don't let us out very much. He at least he's a self-aware, just...
Poor introverted
scientist guy. But and then he just gets choked to death by and he ends up being kind of the vehicle for the alien voice. I will never not understand how on these alien invasions, they always figure out how to communicate with us in 30 seconds flat. You know, it's just wild. I'm like, you're not, even in Superman, Man of Steel, remember they're like, broadcasting messaging in every single language globally.
You wish we had watched Mars Attacks. So you just
that's
your preference. I don't need English.
It's actually not that movie. It's terrible. Anyway, but yeah, I also think there's a few fun other things about the production on the whole that I think are fun. One, I think I love the shot. We talked about this, the salt flats in Utah. Mm-hmm. Very cool. I think perfect shot for this environment.
Yeah.
Dragging the alien across. This is, again, peak Will Smith. He's improving some of these things. He improved the welcome to Earth punch.
Which is a better line than the one that was in the script of that's what I call a close encounter.
100%. Because he pauses, lights up the cigar, does that
delivers
line.
That, which is worse than the improvised.
And we both were like, that's the written line and it's crap. And so, but the welcome to Earth is great and the punch is great. And then he's dragging him across the salt flats and having a whole fucking talking to himself, having a whole conversation. I love that. And I also just love the camaraderie with all the pilot vibes later and the shots there. That's fun.
They do a really good job in this of balancing. I mean, to your point earlier, it does feel like the 3 or 4 female leads all kind of just get bunched together as the love interest.
Sure do. They're the plus ones.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to do something there, but I will say for the male leads, they do a good job of leading these 4 very distinct characters on these journeys throughout. I'm a little
men
bummed.
Here are allowed to have personalities and value.
Yeah.
The one I just before you go on, I will say Vivica A. Fox's character, Jasmine, she does a good job of differentiating herself.
They could have given her a little more to work with, but yes.
But I think she capitalizes on what they give her is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but she makes a point to be she's the survivor of the bunch, and I like that for her. But yes.
Yeah, but we basically have 3.5 male leads here, I would say. And they do a good job of just sharing the time throughout the film.
Half?
I would say Randy Quaid is the half.
Okay.
Lead. He's got not as many scenes as everyone else, but he's still pivotal. I just was curious what your take was, Dad or Randy?
No,
definitely Randy. But I'm a little bummed that we really only get the David and Steven Hiller team up for the last half hour of the movie because they have such great chemistry. But they do a great job of leading us up to that.
Remember about this movie is them, and you're right, it's not that much time. Yeah.
But you've got the President of the United States, you've got a pilot, you've got a alcoholic guy that's a crop duster, and then you've got this. What is Jeff Goldblum's actual job in this?
I think he's supposed to be a scientist of some
kind,
environmental
scientist type thing. But the 4 of them very distinct, and I like how they bring it's doing a really abbreviated version of the Avengers. They have these 4 very different people with different talents, and then by the time we get to the last 45 minutes, you're hyped to see them kind of team up. So
I agree, and I think what we see is interesting, like Bill Pullman's character, I don't think he's like the lead over Will Smith, but what I think is interesting about him is he's supposed to be kind of the glue. I feel like he's the one who he's the commander in chief. He's the leader of the situation. And while I don't like this take, don't get me wrong, but you see this shift in him from let's try to find peace. Let's make peace. He's very reasonable and measured. And we like that about him as a character because he's trying to find a peaceful resolution to the situation. And then once he realizes after they capture the alien and it says, he says, "What do I want from you? I want you to die." And it's like, and he literally is just like, you see him just go like, he's like frothing at the mouth at this point. And then he's like, nuke like, and he's been the most measured guy the whole time. Yeah. And he's like, fuck him up. Like, that's a fun little angle, even though it doesn't work, but it's fun.
Yeah. He's a great president in this. I want to do a really hard pivot really quickly. If a man proposed to you with a ring with a dolphin on it, would you say yes? Or
Woo! Yikes.
Will evolved, Hiller, you're a good guy, you're in good shape, you're very charismatic, but that ring is
get her a dolphin necklace, get her a hoodie. I don't know what the fuck that ring is. That is the most insane thing I've ever, even for the 90s, the most insane engagement ring I've ever seen. It depends on the guy, right? Like if the guy is the one, you say yes and you go, honey, we're going to buy another ring. We're going to go get a different ring. Or I'm not wearing that. Thank you so much, but I'm not going to wear that. Oh my God, terrible, terrible ring. Or just if you get, if you ever buy a ring, don't put dolphins. No dolphins on it.
She likes circuses. So I'm going to put clowns on the ring. Like, no. More iconic. I'm just going to go through some quick hits here. More iconic Randy Quaid one-liner. Boys, I'm back, before he blows up. Or Shitter's Full from Christmas Vacation.
I can't. There's like no comparison. Boys, I'm back.
Okay. 100%. I always associate Randy Quaid with all the National Lampoons because he was in like 8 of them. God, he's hilarious. So but in Independence Day, like I feel like he doesn't really get as well remembered for this, and he does have a pretty cool fucking role and some good one-liners. But
he does a good job in this. I mean, at the risk of getting every single one of our followers to unsubscribe, I hate the National Lampoons. Like I hate all of them.
Ooh, all of them?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, we're gonna have to talk about this at some point.
I thought I had told you this. Like they stress me out so bad. I hate them.
Are you not a Chevy Chase fan, or do you not like?
Well, number one, Chevy Chase is objectively an asshole. So
I mean, he acknowledges that. I don't love Chevy Chase,
but no, it's the collect. They're so stressful. Like you can't. I don't want to watch something that makes me annoyed 100% of the time. So yeah, no, I can't get into it. I don't understand it. I really don't understand the concept. I'm going to be honest with you, but. We can cut that because we're gonna get fired from everyone. But
yeah. Well, like back, I don't have a ton more of notes here. I think the point I made earlier I kind of glossed over, but like I said, I think the fact that they do address loss in this, and basically all of our main leads experience some form of loss or fear of loss at one point or another. I think that story is well told throughout. I think for as much as they don't really give the females in this enough to do. The death of the first lady does hit when it happens. I don't like how we get there of her just kind of like randomly internally bleeding for 3 days, and then she gets like found and dies anyway. Like
that again, like the first lady bit either needs to be rewritten or cut.
But the death does land for me. Maybe it's because the daughter's there too, or Bill Pullman's performance there kind of seals it for me. Like it's not her and him hugging in bed, but it's when he walks out of the room and like his body language is really good.
He plays that well. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm so disconnected from her as a character that even his, very solid performance in that moment, like I don't have a ton of emotional connection to her death at that point because it's also very vague, Yeah. She's like, is mommy sleeping? And he's like, yeah, she's sleeping. And he's kind of keeping it together. And that's, again, like you're saying, there's emotion there and he does a good job. But I don't think they paced it well or wrote it well enough for me to be super invested in that, sadly.
I think that's fair. Do you think on the flip side of that, would the plot have been better? Because I felt that this was happening, but they could have leaned into it more if they wanted to, where the president is literally holding over David's head. Like, you have to do everything I say, and then I'll let you fuck your wife again. Because it felt like throughout this, he was like dangling a carrot of like, David, you got to do better, blah, 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 blah.
They have such a weird vibe. I think that's actually a great call out because they have a weird energy from the very beginning, not just her and him and him.
Yeah.
You know, their vibe is weird. And you're like, was there a thing? Like, there's enough weirdness that you're like, did something happen here? Even though,
dude, 3 years, you broke up 3 years ago.
That part is the
You're
best.
Still wearing your engagement.
Because we thought I was defending him at first because I was like, I can't remember if she died and he's a widower or if they broke up. If he's a widower and she's, you know, the love of his life or something, okay, sure. Don't take off the ring 3 years later.
Yeah.
But you are divorced, sir. And you are, what is he, fucking GPS locating her?
He is a bit of a creep at the beginning of this.
He's a creep. Yeah. And he's like, and he hasn't given, my tone changed a little bit as we went on. I will say. I don't have a ton of their notes either. I do like there's just some quintessential 90s angles to this that are fun, like action beats, you know, and they're lighting up the cigars and they're walking in from, you know, him and Jeff Goldblum walking off them sulfates.
How is it that Jeff Goldblum has a more like sexy saunter than Will Smith in that moment? Will Smith's is more like confident and cocky, but I was watching Jeff Goldblum do like this like strut, and I was like, God damn, only Jeff Goldblum could like outdo Will Smith in this moment.
I don't know, they're both so fucking hot in that moment, to be honest. Like I'd take either one. I'm gonna be honest with you. But I agree. Like for him to be again like the character that he is and like the nerdy guy that he is, and to just like strut the fuck out is, I think it's also that you're coming from this like prototypical fighter pilot guy. And then nerd guy walking out with the same swagger.
I think that like exactly what you're saying of quintessential 90s, which means there's going to be a cheese factor to all of this.
100%.
Anytime you if you're seeing this for the first time for some reason in 2026, you just have to understand that when this came out, everyone took it very seriously. And it was like a fun fucking movie.
Because it was serious.
And people bought it. Yeah. We didn't even know aliens were real yet. This was terrifying.
It's a big deal.
It was also the invention of, supposedly, the whole mothership trope, which now I kind of get sick of in like, they do it in alien movies, they do it in zombie movies or monster movies sometimes, but it's like anytime there's an infection. I don't think it's the origination, but again, maybe it's the popularization, because if you think about vampire lore, a lot of that had things where, if you kill the head vampire, it kills all the rest or like heals everybody. And sometimes that feels a bit lazy. And in this, it kind of feels, I'm glad at least they still go around and blow up all the spaceships, as opposed to like, if we blow up this one, all of them die. But yeah, not my favorite trope, but it makes sense here.
I also didn't love that. I don't think that's as well tied up with a bow as I remember it being, in terms of they're like, well, now we know the formula, go do it. And it's like the formula in our case was to send a suicide bomber alcoholic into the ship. And so hopefully you have a missile, I guess, is the actual formula. But it was just like a weird energy of, we know exactly what to do. And I was like, you mean send Randy Quaid into it? And he's very flammable. He's had a lot of booze in his body. So I think that was the extra explosion.
I hope every country has a Randy Quaid. Russia.
But no, I think it's fun. And it's, again, like if you accept the 90s action of it all and commit to the bit.
Yeah, this is
it's a fun time.
Nostalgia bomb. I'm going to probably rate it higher than somebody who watched it for the first time today. But I don't think that takes away from it. It was like genre defining or like progressing or popularizing. So yeah.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal when it came out. And I remember my family was not big on going to the movies. We were very like rent a movie or whatever. And I remember us seeing this in theaters. That was like a big deal. It's expensive, you guys. Like that was a big investment. And we went and saw
it. Remember $8 movie tickets? Oh my, those were nice.
I remember, do you remember $1.50 movie tickets?
Where the fuck did you live?
I lived here. Hi, born and raised in Austin. But we would have like, on like certain nights, there would be like Tuesday nights or matinees or cheap whatever. Oh my God, I miss it. What a beautiful time. Okay, so all that to say, this is a good nostalgia hit for us. I think it was a perfect addition, actually, to this month.
Yeah, it was a good one where I could we could put it on, snack, and I didn't feel like, I know it's a popcorn movie, so I didn't feel the need to be like taking notes the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay, so what's your rating? Or hit us with your, I'm sorry. So what's your factoid for us?
The weird thing is this factoid is actually relevant, but it's so underexplained, and that's what makes it fucking stupid on IMDb, because other people did a better job of explaining this. Okay. But I'm going to read word for word what the fact is.
Okay. Hit us.
This movie has a connection to H.G. Wells' novel War of the Worlds. That's it.
I have so many. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for next week. You'll see why. Wow.
When we do actual War
of the Worlds. Okay.
I get I know what they're pointing to with the virus thing. But
that's like the one fucking thing.
You gave no detail.
You gave no detail. That's the one thing. It's not a true adaptation. I just want y'all to be aware. It's not an adaptation of War of the Worlds, just to be so clear. Okay. Womp, womp, womp.
Womp, womp. So rating?
Right. Rating. Hit me with your rating.
I will, on rewatch, I would rate it lower than I would when I was, 12 in 1996. But I'm going to go with when I first watched it. And I would say this is like an 8 movie. It's really, really good. It's like fun, enjoyable. It is cheesy and hokey and all the predictable action alien invasion things. It is really long. And I do think there's some points in that first 45 minutes of the buildup and then the immediate impact of that, like where things drag a little bit. But once you get to the final 60 minutes, it's damn near flawless for that portion. Script is fine.
Script is, I think, the weakest link, to be honest.
Yeah. I think if they were to remake this instead of making a shitty sequel, they probably could have done it better, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give it an 8. What about you?
I actually think I'm like right there with you.
Yeah.
Nostalgically speaking, so good, so solid. The cast is actually perfect. It really does just like take me back. So there's definitely a nostalgia factor to it. But I love an action movie. You guys, we've established this. So I love the like beat for beat action. I actually think the practical effects on the whole are very good and they hold up very well. There's just a couple that don't, and that's like
the couple green screens that are super obvious.
They're pretty bad.
And the other thing you find yourself questioning is, why couldn't you have just done that with models? Like literally all you're doing is superimposing a spaceship in the back of New York. Just use your model and put a fucking model spaceship there. It would have been so much better looking. But
yeah, it's hit and miss. Their plan was fire, I think, a little bit. But on the whole, I think it's really good. And I think the even the small characters who don't get a ton of time make an impact. And I love that for them. So yeah, I think it's a good time. I do think this is one, and I'm not a proponent of this all the time, for sure. This is one I think we could remake really well.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know that Resurgence is it. I haven't fucking seen it, so I don't know. But I do think we could remake it now and do a good job.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get Will Smith back into everyone's good graces.
Yeah, he did something recently and I didn't pay attention to it. So we'll see. But anyways, thanks for joining, you guys. Come back for our final week. We're going into the home stretch here. Number 4. We're going to do War of the Worlds. Apropos.
With Ice Cube in it, as God intended and H.G. Wells would have wanted.
Ice Cube. The way I tell you guys, I'm about to have a fucking meltdown. Okay. It is, and I double checked before we watched this. The only thing that I checked. It is intended to be the adaptation of the H.G. Wells version of this story.
I think most people on Letterboxd would say it's pitch perfect. Like by the word, by the chapter.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so anyway, ignore my meltdown. In the meantime,
follow us on our socials. We drink and we watch things mostly on Instagram. You can comment on there. You can comment on YouTube or wherever you watch podcasts. I wanted to give a shout out this week to MD Shaheen Alam 62 on YouTube, who's been commenting on a few of our videos, but specifically on the Sicario one. Really appreciated the discussion on how the film intentionally keeps the audience in the dark to mirror the protagonist's own disorientation, which I think is totally accurate. Like Kate in that knows as much as we do.
About that,
but yeah, that's one of like 3 different comments that they've left us. So thank you for that.
Thanks, bud. I'm so happy to have you.
Also, this is totally, I should have said this before we finished up the movie. You know, this was shot in 72 days.
This?
Independence Day, 72, like 2 months shoot for all of this insanity. That's might be the most impressive thing about it, outside of the money it made.
That is pretty impressive. I wouldn't have expected that. Okay, well, good to know. All right, well, thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the things. Again, we're going to go watch another thing, and we're going to come back. So
next time you see us, we will be
God knows. I don't even know.
Jesus
but you guys, for now, go have a drink and watch a thing. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're literally going to go do it. How often do we actually get to do that?
Right.
Literally go have a drink and watch a thing. Oh, I love that for us.